Welcome back, everybody. Episode 51 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And I am just sitting here so grateful. Lots of dynamics are moving through the energy of the world right now. Lots. And we are all kind of being pushed into edges of ourselves, into spaces of like acceleration, into spaces of acknowledging, into spaces of like paying attention, And this week's podcast, I really lean into the word sovereignty. What does that mean for you? I also talk about what the dynamic of is like, what the dynamic of is moving. Like, I can't even speak this morning, apparently. What is moving through the collective, how it's starting to show up now in our world, and what we can do about this. And how do we fully start to step into this sovereignty energy inside of us, each individual light being freedom oriented in their own independence, in their own energetic capacities, holding this energy inside themselves for their truth, for their power, for their alignment, for their connections, for their flow, for their love, their light, all of it. So today's episode's a pretty powerful one that I step into the space of to deliver into you. And you know what? I am grateful. I'm grateful for all the choices that I've made to get me to this point in time. I'm grateful for all of the new resources that I'm creating. We call that, instead of obstacles or challenges, new resources that I'm creating. I'm grateful for this new environment I'm in, for the connections in my life, for all the people. And I'm grateful that I get to step in every single week and do this, for us to have this conversation, for you to be here today listening, for you to hold space as we transition through this, for you to count on me to deliver messages that may trigger you, that may pique your interest, that may completely be opposing to your belief systems, and that may enlighten you. And my job is all of those things. And I urge you to consider opening up your heart for this episode and feel out, where is the truth for you here? How does it feel like in your body? What are you exploring next? And what is this next level mechanism for you? So holding space for yourself as we enter into episode 51, the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Well, here we are, everybody, another episode. And, this one is coming in pretty juicy hot at this moment of time. And I just want us to sit with this in reflection today, because I think this is an important question that all of us, and I'm going to use this word on purpose, should be considering in our life. And I use the word should on purpose to emphasize a point in this conversation today that we are having as a collective, or you're listening to and you're taking in and feeling out your truth in connection with this dynamic that I'm about to share with you, and feeling out, what does this mean for you? And I want you to really sit with the word sovereignty. And I really want you to feel this in your body. And I want you to just take this in and go, what does the word sovereignty mean to me? What does it mean to me? How does this play out in my field? How does this show up in my life? So sovereignty is really about you being an independent, freedom being of life. Now, what that means for each of us is going to be different. But for some of us, and especially some of the people I play in the world of energy with, and some of my really close, tight-knit friends that I can be all of me to, it is sovereignty in all ways. Sovereignty in speaking your truth and owning who you really are in the world. Sovereignty of financial stability, meaning like if the government takes out a system, it's not going to collapse your life, that you have movement inside of your financial stability. Sovereignty in your career path, in your choice of execution as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur. Sovereignty in your energy and how you show up and how you serve your body, even, or how you serve your energetics. We're watching right now the world, and this is going to be a dynamic conversation today about what's happening up in Kelowna in Canada, in BC in Canada, the hurricane that is like unheard of going through the coast of California, where they actually just now got an earthquake as well that just transpired. And most of the people in my world may not even know this is happening, and may not even know that behind the scenes, they are manipulating the weather to bring in this conversation of climate change, because they want people back in fear. And I'm going to say this transparently out loud into the space of, and again, like I always say, use your discernment. If this does not feel aligned for you, then do not listen and take this into your heart center. But if you are curious and there's parts of you right now that are questioning, or you're like, let me listen to this just to kind of feel this out in my own field, amazing. And some of you are going to be like, I totally get it. This is truth. This is all in. This is the thing that's going on right now. And this pulse is within you. Each of us is at a different phase of our spiritual expansion, of our awareness, of our, dynamic ability to see through the veils and illusions that are happening in the world right now. And some of us are forging, and some of us are trailblazers, and some of us have never not seen the truth. Meaning, through all the mechanisms that have been playing out, especially over the last 3 years, we didn't question what the truth actually was. We saw through it the whole entire time. So, in March of 2020, when this whole thing started to move, like really move into Canada, obviously it started up in January, February, starting to trickle in as this thing, probably the year before, but none of us were listening, right, to this aspect of stuff. We weren't paying attention, right? You've heard me say this often over the last few weeks. If you've been listening to the podcast and you've been hearing this, is about paying attention. We weren't paying attention, right? Most of us were stuck in our hustle life and moving through and, getting the kids to here and having 3 jobs and doing this and going networking and taking meetings live online and seeing people for coffee and then moving into the next thing, because that's what life was about, right? And then all of a sudden in March, it was like we were told to put the brakes on and stay in our houses and not leave, only for necessities. Completely changed the world. Now, I'm not talking in a way of like the schmovid shit, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking in the way of putting humanity on pause, because that pause actually allowed the light workers, those that weren't really awakened yet, to awaken faster, quicker, to start to see some stuff, to start to question some things. It allowed those of us that were already awakened to deepen our awakening, and also to go through, like, I can probably confirm that most of the people that were already seeing the narrative coming into 2020, like into that year, probably went through a dark night of the soul somewhere around April, May, because I did. And I'm like, I bet you that was a thing for some other people. I guarantee you that was a thing for some other people, because we were now in the silence of being able to hear ourselves and being able to actually now go, fuck, right? My intuition is speaking. I haven't been paying attention. Shit, I got that that download like a year ago. Fuck, right? And there's no regret in life. And this is a big thing I want to make sure that we chat through today. There's no regret in life. There isn't a dynamic of like, oh, I wish I would have known, or I wish I would have saw it. There's the choices were made. And this is the thing I really want you to feel in your heart. At the time, you did the best you could with the resources you had. That's what you did. That's all that we can say about this in the space of. But now you might be in a different space now, seeing things differently, hearing things differently. Life may be moving and changing for you in this pathway, and you're expanding and you're discovering and you're moving through this dynamic of energy. So all we can go and look at and say right now is, okay, this is where I am now. What decisions need to be made in my field of either changes, of honoring, of like more amplification, of stepping into this space that will help me maneuver fully or more fully into my sovereign pathway? What does that mean for you? How do you rely on yourself or your tight niched community around you, where you create an infrastructure of like a group of people that are here together? So like if something goes down somewhere, if something happens somewhere, like let's say these earthquakes from California all of a sudden start to happen in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which they're not even on a fucking ley line, like inside of that space. And I don't even know if that's the right answer, but that's what I'm being told, like a grid work almost, energy of going into the grid. I think I'm gonna have to talk about a podcast on that, because I was doing some Akashic Records work last night for the manual for level 1. And because for those that don't know, I train and teach Akashic Records training and certification. And this year was the first year that I launched it. I was highly driven by spirit to get it out into the world. And I'm teaching it. And I was in level 1 yesterday. And as I was doing the work and bringing in level 2, because that's being taught, Ooh, there's some truth moving through that's being taught in a few weeks. I have to get that manual created. I was having conversation about gateways and ley lines and energetic lines that the world's been created on. So I think one day I'll jam out on that conversation with you, because for those of you that are floating in the galactics or that are connecting deeper into this sovereignty of energy, you'll appreciate that conversation. It's a little bit out there, that's for sure. But there's not even a ley line in Winnipeg. So imagine an earthquake going through Winnipeg, like that would be unheard of. And it's like, it is technically not something that would happen. So this dynamic of hurricane going through on that side of the ocean, that side of the world, is actually not a thing, and it happens very rarely. And some people would be like, oh yeah, well, it is a rare occasion in time right now on the earth. Yeah, it is, because they're manipulating shit. And energy is being manipulated, and physical things are being manipulated for the agenda. I want you to just feel into this, and what does this mean to hold sovereignty in your life? So when I talk to you guys about small communities, so let's just say this random event is about to happen somewhere. There's a darker energy moving through today, even here where I am. I was messaging with a friend of mine this morning, and I was just like, something's off in the energy. She goes, I know, I feel it too. And I'm like, so just holding space for all the things, all the movement, all the people, all the environments here today, because it's needed at this moment of time for us to really come from this place of love. You know, I had a girlfriend reach out to me the other day about the BC fires in Kelowna, and she's like, I just don't know what to do. And I said, you need to spread more love and light into the world. That's how we shift this. It's an energetic thing. When the energy changes, the energy changes. But some of us are so stuck sometimes in the materialistic things, which is technically the 3D world, that we forget that we have movement availability in frequencies. If a frequency no longer matches another frequency, it cannot hold or be held there. If you go back to physics from high school, like attracts like. So if there's a frequency in the world that says we want destitute and we want control and power, and we will take it and manipulate it any way we can, and that's the frequency, then they create these fires in Kelowna, these fires all over Canada, these fires all over the world, these hurricanes, these dynamics. They have instruments that create, and it's like the Hunger Games, guys. I want to make sure if I can say that to you, that they're like, no, we want those like pumas to come out and eat people right now. Let's create them. That's what's happening. And some of you may be like, shut the fuck up. Yes. Guys, we are not in this independent earth experience. This is controlled mechanism. This is like we are in Divergent. Okay, if you've never seen that movie, go take a look at it. It's like we're in Divergent. That's what's happening right now in the world. They're giving us all these movies to see so that you will not believe that this is a fucking thing, that this is a mechanism happening through the world. So we have this dynamic, this frequency of what it is that they're trying to create. And then we have the actual outcome of the vibration that matches this. If we step in and start moving love and light into the world and shifting energy, one being can change a frequency. A collective of beings can change it quicker. You put masses of people together, faster and faster the vibrancy changes. But sometimes I think that we get in our heads to think we're just one person. Just like, you know, I used to think about it like this with when the Canadian government was doing voting, right? For those that don't know, I'm Canadian. And it would be like, well, what does my one vote count for? Your one vote along with that other one vote along with that other one vote could maybe change something. And that's something I just want to bring into your fields of awareness, that your light matters. Your individual light, the frequency you live on changes things. When you walk into a room, it changes the vibration of a room. When you walk into a space, it changes that vibration. When you show up for people, you show up for your clients, you show up for your customers, you show up in life for yourself, it changes. I walk into the gym now and people smile at me, and people I don't even fucking know. And my job is to create a vibrational frequency wherever I go, even when I'm swearing under my breath at myself because I can't even push that weight any longer, or I can't even pull that weight any longer. Speaking of which, I still have to go to the gym this morning. But like, I just chose, like, I could feel the heaviness this morning and I went, no go. I'm not getting out of bed yet. Well, I had gotten out of bed and brushed my teeth, and then I went back into bed for like half an hour, because I play a role in an energetic body, just like all of you. And maybe some of you are not aware. I feel it. I feel it. And some days it's like I was up till midnight working, and I was just like, no. See, it's coming through me right now to be able to clear. And I got way too many people to serve today. I've got like 5 one-to-one clients in the space today, plus a couple of trickle other things dynamically happening in my world. And it's like, I am not stepping, I need this energy today, and I need to find the flow. And there's a couple other things I need to go do today as well to complete this cycle I'm moving through today. But it's like, I can hold it and I can handle this, and I can, but I'm making a conscious choice and decision to make sure I can do that, to make sure I eat properly today, to make sure I flow properly today, to make sure I take care of things. So when I've got a half an hour gap, where's the focus? Making sure you eat this fruit, making sure you drink that water, making sure that you move your body, making sure that you get out in the sunshine, even though there's no sun here today. And that's probably also one of the dynamics of what I'm feeling, is because there's no sun waking me up today. And in October, that's a real thing, right? It's like, it's rain season, and we may have rain for a full month. We'll get a couple of days in there. And I'm preparing my body for that. That's why I'm like, I need to get to the beach. I need to get to the beach. And I can still ground in that energy field, right? But like, I really want to hit home this conversation today, and I'm not gonna stretch it out. I'm not gonna like pull you in with me. I want you to lean into your heart and feel out what your truth is in connection with this. Where in your life right now are you not sovereign? Where? Had the same question with myself today. If shit hit the fan today, where am I not sovereign? Where am I not sovereign? What needs to shift and happen? Now, granted, I've made some fabulous relationships in this country, and we would come together, and I know that we would. And I feel that energetics, that I will be okay no matter what. And I know I would be okay no matter what, because I'm resourceful and I can figure shit out and I can move some stuff through. But I also am naive inside of this landscape of a country, inside of like, what do these bugs actually fucking do? Like, we shouldn't be in this tall grass right now, and especially now that's mating season for the venomous snakes. Yay, it is. So excited. But I don't live by the river any longer. My friends do. So one of the guys that we were with on Saturday night, he was like, just be careful going by the river now. Snakes are migrating. Yay, we love it when this happens, right? So like, I am naive. Like, I am not saying I have all the answers, but could I figure it out? Yeah, I could. I could figure it out. Would it be the most ideal situation? Fuck no. But I could figure it out if that's what we're doing. And if that's what's happening, I could figure it out, right? So I really desire to leave you with this vibration today of, where in your life are you not sovereign? Where in your life do you maybe need to find some additional people in your world to complete the sovereign loop? Or you need to start to create some focus maybe around certain areas of your life. Like, what would happen if you couldn't go to the grocery store to buy food? Where do you go? Do you have friends that own farms? Do you know any local farmers? Is there a place that you can go to pick it up? That would be a consideration. Who do you know? Financially, monetarily, do you have cash stored? Can you have access to money? What does that look like for you? And if not, okay, how do you change this? Right? Your energetic sovereignty. What does that mean in your field? What does that mean for you? Are you sleeping at night? Are you, releasing the anxiety in your body? Are you moving your body every day? Right? So like, feeling into this and really allowing yourself to drop in and be honest with your own self, going, where am I not sovereign? Where? And then start to like really consider. And now you don't have to do anything. Like, you can just keep living your life the way that you are, and that's amazing. But I feel like if you're listening to this podcast right now and you are here and listening to me on your ear, you have a question about this. You are curious about this. And this for you is like, okay, how do I get like Sean Whalen, Lines Not Sheep brand? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. I'm part of one of his coaching programs, very masculine driven energy. But I'm in it for certain reasons. I have all the group stuff that I do every single month. I'm in it for certain reasons, right? And then I have my one-to-one coach, and then I've got my spiritual coaches, and that is my palette of things. So I am in his group coaching program. You've heard me talk about it last episode. You heard me talk about him, but he always says, get your house in order. And that is all things. Supplemental wise, food wise, financial wise, energetics, your health, your body, everything. What is needed for you right now to align in sovereignty? And this may never affect you. But what if you could live your life potently in sovereignty every single day? That changes the fucking game. Every day you stepped into sovereignty because one day you made a choice that you will not allow someone else to control or dictate your life. So you've taken the reins back and you step back into a space and you hold an energetic field, whether you ever have to use it or not. What does this mean for you? How does this show up in your field of awareness? How does this move through your body? What does this mean for you? We're at a pivotal point of choice right now in the world. We're watching the world fucking literally burn, burn, burn. Maui, like how many places in the last week? And some of you may not even have a fucking clue because you know what's not happening? They're not telling you on the news. And if you live in Canada, all the news has been blocked from you anyways. They brought in that bill. Shocker, they'd bring in a bill and then fucking light up Kelowna. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you see what is transpiring? Now, we don't have to run into the fear of this. Guys, there is always a way. If there's a problem, there is a solution in multiples because we live in a world of duality. You've heard me talk about polarity before. You've heard me talk about this. If you're brand new, this is your first podcast, you may not have heard me talk about it, but I've done episodes before about this. Everything is polarity in this world, every single thing, light and dark. It is part of the law of principles of vibration of the earth experience. It is. So if we have a problem, there is a solution always, not just one time, not just maybe, always. So if there's shitstorms happening over here, there's also light fields accelerating over here. Our job is to play into this, the light, the mechanism of expansion, the movement. How can you in your life move more light into the world? How can you bring more joy and love and light into the spaces of your community, your own life, your heart, your home, your kids, your partners, everything? That is your job. And then if you have space after, because your pathway is to help illuminate others as well and get into their fields, you go there next. I have a whole business around my job and my mission on earth. This is my job. One by one by one. That's my job. And if I can get 15 people into a program or 100 people on a masterclass, I'm now at a tipping point of accelerating light. Because if I can get 100 people in an energetic capacity, moving through a certain energy, those 100 now expand into at least 10 more people. So now we're making 10,000 imprints. Do you see how this works? One light shifts others. That's how it works. So your light being lit up, whether you do anything in product, services, entrepreneurial work, that doesn't fucking matter. It's your light in the world, your sovereignty, you in your unique vibration, in all of this capacity, in all of this movement. It's you, and you. So what does this look like for you? How does this feel like for you? Where is some work needing to be done? If you want to go there and actually be honest and take some personal responsibility and fucking go into the depths of this, guys, I understand in my life where I need to kick up some paces. I fucking get it. I dominantly get it. And I'm seeing it. And yesterday I have had multiple conversations with myself about this. I'm like, fuck, we've got to move this through. Like, it's no longer a time for us to just sit around. Not that I've ever fucking sat around, but sometimes I lollygag. Sometimes I Netflix and chill and I just am like, dude, you need to fucking get that shit together. And I'm like, yeah. You know, I procrastinate too. I'm also a fucking human. But it's game time. It's game time. It's accelerating light with others. It's leaning in. A friend of mine was like, I think we need to do something live here. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. And she's like, sit with this and let me know. And I'm like, okay. But if you're calling it forward, I'm always in, because the way that we work together, it's just our energy is in that alignment. I'm like, I'm in. She's like, we'll do like a breath work guided meditation thing. And I'm like, yep, I'll bring my drum and pow it out. On Friday night, I sat. It's like, that's going to be like 10 minutes. 45 minutes later, I sat in my house, only candles lit, and my sage. That fucking literally, I lived in a sage box for like days. Like, it was like fucking so smoky in here, is crazy. But I then saw a post the next day about Kelowna being on fire and about the sage burning to clear the land. And I went, that's why my fucking sage burned the whole time. Like it usually will burn out. It didn't burn out. It was on fucking fire pretty much. And I dropped in, I did some healing work in Maui. I then went to Kelowna with the dragons, like the water dragons, and started to move energy, started to bless the earth again, started to bring in some stuff. I was gone for 45 minutes in trance, in light language activations, and speaking different multiple realms of light language with my drum, singing. It was really cool. And I'm like, I'm down to heal some earth here in Costa Rica. I'm down to make this move. I'm down to make this shift. I'm here for this. So I urge you today to consider wherever you listen to this podcast, because some of you may hear this 3 months down the road, and that's totally cool and amazing. And I hope that it opened up maybe a pathway in you to discover something new, or to question something in your world, or to really step into this space and go, I think this is a thing. Like, I really think I need to start owning my sovereignty. And what does that mean for you? And how does that move through your energetic field and capacity? And how can you expand through this, right, in your own life? Take the reins back. You can do this. You can hold this. You can find a collective of people that are doing the same things. They're everywhere. You just got to start looking. Everywhere. You just have to start looking. So that being said, I think I'm complete for this morning's podcast episode. Sending you guys out lots of love and light through this dynamic. And remember, do not drop into the fear. The fear is an illusion. That is the mechanism of what shadow energy is creating right now. They want you scared. Don't give it up to them. I'll see you guys again soon.